5 minutes ago, something happened in Washington that very few people were expecting to move this fast. The House approved a brand new U.S. immigration law, and for millions of green card holders, the reaction has been pure shock. Not because this was rumored for months, but because of what's actually inside the bill and how quickly it cleared the House floor. If you're a permanent resident, a sponsor, or a senior with family relying on immigration status, this is one of those moments where ignoring the news could cost you peace of mind later. Here's why this is such a big deal. This new law doesn't just tweak paperwork or adjust filing fees. It touches residency conditions, compliance rules, and enforcement standards that could quietly change how secure a green card really is. Many people assume once you have permanent residency, everything is locked in forever. That belief is exactly what's being challenged right now. The bill introduces new review triggers, stricter timelines, and updated eligibility checks that could affect travel, renewals, sponsorship of family members, and even how long absences from the U.S. are treated. What's catching seniors off guard is how this intersects with retirement, healthcare access, and family stability. Imagine planning your later years around your children or grandchildren in the U.S., only to discover that a technical rule change alters your options. Some green card holders are now asking whether routine actions like extended stays abroad, receiving certain benefits, or delayed renewals could suddenly raise red flags. And the most unsettling part? Much of this won't make headlines until people start feeling the effects. Right now, the Senate is the next battlefield, but history shows that House approval is often the turning point. That's why understanding what just passed matters more than waiting for panic later. In this video, I'm breaking down exactly what this new immigration law means, who is most at risk, who may be protected, and what smart steps green card holders should consider now before confusion turns into consequences. If you care about staying informed and protecting your future or your family's future, don't miss what comes next. And before we continue, support this channel by tapping the like button. It helps more seniors and green card holders see this critical update right when they need it most. What just happened in the House is the kind of moment that quietly reshapes lives before most people even realize it. After the shock of hearing that a new U.S. immigration law has been approved, many green card holders are now sitting with a heavy question in their minds. What does this actually mean for me? And that question is completely valid, because immigration laws are never just words on paper. They translate into real consequences, real deadlines, and real stress for families who thought they were finally settled. For years, permanent residency has been treated as a finish line. People worked, waited, paid fees, passed interviews, and finally received that green card with the belief that stability had arrived. You could plan retirement, buy property, help your children, and even think about spending longer periods outside the U.S. without fear. That sense of security is exactly why this new law feels so unsettling. It challenges assumptions that many green card holders, especially seniors, have relied on for decades. One of the most important things to understand right now is that immigration laws don't usually announce themselves with dramatic changes overnight. Instead, they shift the rules quietly. They redefine what counts as compliance. They tighten definitions that were once flexible. They introduce new standards that don't feel dangerous until someone accidentally crosses them. That's why moments like this matter so much. The House approval signals that lawmakers want more oversight, more control, and fewer gray areas in the system. For seniors, this hits differently than it does for younger immigrants. At this stage of life, priorities are stability, healthcare, family closeness, and peace of mind. Many older green card holders travel more often to visit family abroad. Some spend months at a time outside the U.S., believing their status is safe as long as they don't stay away too long. Others rely on family sponsorships or shared living arrangements to manage rising costs. When laws change, those everyday decisions suddenly carry more weight. A major source of anxiety right now is uncertainty. People are asking whether past behavior could be reinterpreted under new standards. They're wondering if future renewals will be more difficult, if interviews will become stricter, or if documentation requirements will expand. These concerns aren't paranoid. Immigration history shows that once Congress signals a tougher stance, agencies often follow with tighter enforcement and more scrutiny. Another layer of concern comes from timing. Many green card holders are in the middle of renewals, travel plans, or family petitions. When a law changes mid-process, confusion grows. Seniors in particular worry about missing a notice, misunderstanding a requirement, or not reacting quickly enough. Unlike younger applicants, they may not be checking online portals daily or following fast-moving policy updates. That gap in information can be costly. It's also important to talk about the emotional side of this moment. Immigration stress doesn't just live on paper. It lives in sleepless nights, strained family conversations, and the quiet fear of losing what took so long to build. For seniors who already face health concerns and financial pressure, uncertainty about immigration status can feel overwhelming. The feeling of being almost secure but not quite is one of the hardest emotional positions to be in. Right now, there's a lot of noise online. Some sources are exaggerating, others are downplaying the situation. The truth usually sits in the middle. This House-approved law doesn't automatically strip anyone of their green card tomorrow, but it does change the environment. It changes how carefully rules are applied, how exceptions are handled, and how much margin for error exists. And when the margin for error shrinks, preparation becomes essential. One thing seniors should pay close attention to is how definitions are evolving. Words like continuous residence, intent, and compliance may look familiar, but their interpretation can shift. What was once acceptable flexibility can become a potential issue. This is why relying on old advice or outdated assumptions can be risky. Immigration law is one of those areas where yesterday's truth doesn't always survive today's vote. Family dynamics are also part of this story. Many green card holders are pillars of multi-generational households. They help raise grandchildren, provide financial support, or depend on family members for care. When immigration stability is questioned, it affects everyone in that circle. Adult children worry about their parents' status. Spouses worry about travel and re-entry. These ripple effects are real and deserve attention. Another concern that's quietly growing is enforcement discretion. Laws don't operate themselves. Agencies and officers interpret and apply them. When Congress passes stricter laws, it often signals a cultural shift within enforcement agencies. That can mean more questions at ports of entry, more requests for documentation, and less tolerance for inconsistencies. For seniors who may not have perfect records or who rely on others to manage paperwork, this can be intimidating. At the same time, it's important not to fall into panic. Panic leads to rushed decisions, misinformation, and unnecessary fear. The goal right now is awareness and readiness. Understanding your own situation, your travel history, your renewal timeline, and your long-term plans puts you back in control. Knowledge is the strongest antidote to uncertainty. This moment also highlights the importance of communication. Too many seniors assume immigration updates don't apply to them because they've been here forever. That mindset can be dangerous. Laws don't always respect longevity. Staying informed, asking questions, and seeking clarity are acts of self-protection, not signs of weakness. As this law moves forward, more details will emerge. Implementation guidelines, agency memos, and procedural updates will fill in the gaps. Those details matter just as much as the headline itself. Often, the real impact of a law isn't felt until months later, when renewals are processed under new standards or travel cases are reviewed differently. Being ahead of that curve makes all the difference. There's also a broader context to consider. Immigration policy is deeply tied to political cycles, economic pressure, and public opinion. Seniors who've lived through multiple administrations know how quickly priorities can change. Today's law reflects a moment in time, but its effects can linger long after headlines fade. That's why treating this as a temporary scare would be a mistake. For green card holders nearing retirement, planning now is especially important. Retirement often brings changes in travel patterns, income sources, and living arrangements. Each of those intersects with immigration rules in subtle ways. A law that tightens oversight may not stop retirement plans, but it may require adjustments to how those plans are executed. What matters most right now is mindset. This isn't about fear, it's about vigilance. It's about replacing assumptions with understanding and passivity with awareness. The House approval is a signal, and signals are meant to be read, not ignored. As we continue through this video, we'll keep breaking down what this law could mean in real-life terms, how to think about your own situation, and what questions every green card holder, especially seniors, should be asking right now. This is about clarity, not chaos. It's about empowering you with context so you can move forward with confidence instead of confusion. If this information is helping you feel more informed and less overwhelmed, make sure to show your support by liking this video. It helps this message reach other seniors and green card holders who need clear, calm explanations during moments like this.